Please join me in the pledge to the Bible. I pledge allegiance to the Bible, God's holy word. I will make it a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. I will hide its words in my heart that I might not sin against God. Join me in the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As we're working through our catechism, we've been talking about the sacrifice of Jesus being the perfect sacrifice for us. We talked about the life that Christ lived on earth was a life of suffering, but it was also obedience and service. And then the kind of death that Jesus died was the painful and shameful death of the cross. Today we're going to talk about the word atonement, which means it is satisfaction. It satisfies God's justice. So the question is, what is meant by the atonement? Christ satisfied God's justice by his suffering and death as a substitute for sinners. We'll break that apart. Repeat after me. Christ satisfied God's justice by his suffering and death as a substitute for sinners. So substitute means in place of. So Christ's death took our place, and that satisfied God's justice, and that's the whole idea of atonement. Tomorrow we'll talk about justification, what that means to be made right in the sight of God compared to that. Our sound off for today is we're going to talk about ants. In the book of Proverbs, Solomon uses ants as an example for us to follow. And that seems kind of weird. Ants are small, they're easy to step on, kind of get in the way of things. I think Mrs. Easter had a few visitors with ants last week. But ants are great examples for us, and the sound off we're going to use is I'm going to say, the ant works hard, and you're going to say, without a coach. All right, so repeat after me, without a coach.
Without a coach.
Let's put it all together. The ant works hard. What in the world does that mean? The ant works hard without a coach. Without a coach. Bailey, what does that mean? Right. The ant just does his job without anyone telling him. Now we have Coach Hayden in here, right? He helps the basketball team, and he tells you where to go and what play to run and what inbounds play to do. So you follow the coach, as you should. But great players or great students do those things on their own without a coach telling them to do it. So the ant does his job and does it without a boss yelling at him like, go here, do that, make sure you pick up that. He just does his job in the way to serve the Lord. And they're a great example for us, even though they're just small, insignificant little bugs, but they show us how we're to do our work as unto the Lord. This week we're talking about the virtue of excellence, the virtue of excellence. This week, the Super Bowl is coming up, right? And you might have a favorite team playing in it. So what is the difference between success and excellence? So when we talk about the Cincinnati Bengals or the LA Rams being successful, what do we mean by that? What do we mean? If we say that football team has been successful this year, what do we mean? What do we mean? Kingston. Yeah, they've done something good, right? And we know that because in comparison to the other teams that they play against, they've beaten them. So success is always typically when we compare ourselves. We're successful in certain things because we've like a basketball team. They're successful because they've won these games. So when we look to our people around us, when we start measuring ourselves, we determine if we're being successful or not. I'm better than you, or they're better than me, and that's how we determine it. Excellence is something completely different. Excellence is looking to an objective standard, something that God has set up that doesn't change compared to my competition or the people around me or my classmates. Excellence is looking to something that, in the three standards that we look to here, is truth, goodness, and beauty. Those three things never change. For all of time, truth, goodness, and beauty has always been the same because they're things that have been established by God. So if I was a construction worker and I was building a wall, a successful wall would mean I would construct it, right? There would be a wall standing there. It may be crooked, it may not be super, straight, but I've successfully built a wall. An excellent wall would mean that when I'm building it, I have my level, I make sure it's 90 degrees, it's straight, because I'm putting it up to an objective standard. So when we think about being an excellent student, it's different than being a successful student. A successful student maybe is the first one done. Or compared to my other classmates, I'm doing okay. An excellent student is doing their work as unto the Lord, and the objective standard they're doing is what is pleasing to the Lord. And they're not looking to their classmates to determine if it's good enough or not. So what we'll be talking about all week is how can you be an excellent student, and to do it without comparing yourself to the people around you, but instead looking to the Lord and comparing yourself to the standard that he has for you and growing and maturing in that way. Our hymn of the month is His Eye is on the Sparrow. So we've been working through that. So let's sing. So today, as we work toward pursuing excellence, we're not comparing ourselves to the kids around us and who gets done first or, what grade did you get? No, we're comparing ourselves to what God is calling us to do, and that is a standard of excellence. So our sound off this week is "The ant works hard. The Lord be with you."